Recently, a subscriber asked me how to say the word sometimes in Korean, and I remember replying with just 가끔, which is probably the most common way. But then I remembered that there are actually a lot of different words for saying sometimes, and each one is used in different situations. So I'm going to cover all of the most common ways to say sometimes in Korean, starting with 가끔. Now, this is the most standard way you can think of saying sometimes. It just means not constantly, that there is some amount of time in between each time that you do something. So you're not always doing it, but you're sometimes doing something. And if you just wanted a quick way to say sometimes, there you go. So let's go on to the next one, and that is 가끔씩. And this is the same as 가끔, except that it has the added 씩 to the end, which means each. And it's used in other situations to mean each, but here it's simply used to emphasize the word 가끔. And by doing that, it just puts a little bit of extra emphasis on that word 가끔. So it's like saying sometimes. The next word we have is 한 번. Now, don't get this confused with 한 번 with a space. That one literally means 한 번, so one time. This one is without a space, 한 번, and it has a different meaning. This one means not so much sometimes, but more like sometime. As in, you're not doing something all the time, but you're going to give it a try sometime. So you'll see this word used commonly when you're saying you're going to try doing something. For example, I'll give it a try sometime. Let's get something to eat sometime. So let me give you an example of that. 언제 밥 한 번 같이 먹자. Sometime, 언제, as in sometime, literally, who knows when. We'll talk about this one in a second, but let's look at this part. 밥 한 번 같이 먹자. So let's get a meal together. Let's eat together sometime. 언제 밥 한 번 같이 먹자. It could just be a formality, they could just be saying it to be polite, or they could actually mean, hey, let's get a meal together sometime. And the next word for sometime actually is this word, which you'll also see as this. Now, 언젠가 is often just shortened to 언제. So you can hear both of these being used. 언젠가 means sometime in the past or sometime in the future, but whenever it is, that time is unknown. A better way to translate this in your head is instead of just sometime, one day. You know, someday, one day. It might happen, it might not happen, but it could happen one day, someday, sometime. But we're not done. The next way to say sometimes is with the adverb 종종. Now, this one means sometimes as well, but it's much less frequent, I would say, than other words like 가끔. And you can think of this as translating as once in a while, or every now and then. Sometimes, as in, yeah, every now and then, once in a while. And the last one that I want to cover is 때때로, or optionally just 때로. You'll see both of these. 때 actually comes from the word meaning time. So literally, this is like saying at times, or at times, like that. So this one also means sometimes, but there's a slight difference. It means sometimes depending on the situation. So it implies that you might or might not do something sometimes, depending on the situation at hand. And a way to think about this in English is from time to time. Occasionally, sometimes, depending on the situation, like that. Now, these aren't all of the ways you can say sometimes. I'm sure there are a few more that I missed, but these are the most common ones that you'll find, and all of the ones that I've shown you today are used on a regular basis. You'll hear them every day. So, did I miss any in this video? Any thoughts about this topic? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next lesson. 그럼 다음에 또 봐.